his disciples, do not go unto the cities of the Samaritans or the cities of the Gentiles. I'm only here, he says, for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So it's a movement only of Jews. They're people who do not pray to him as God. They're people who are Torah observant. That's the movement originally. But within about 150 years, what it changes into is a movement that basically doesn't have any more Jews. They're all Gentile. They don't believe Jesus was simply a human being, a Messiah. They believe that Jesus is God in the flesh. They do not observe the Torah. As a matter of fact, they persecute the few remaining Jewish Christians that are keeping the Torah. And this enterprise, we know what happens historically. The Christian world becomes rapidly anti-Jewish, hating and persecuting Jews. The great leading church fathers in the 3rd, 4th, 5th centuries are blistering attacks on the Jewish people. So here is a dramatic shift, that a movement that veered so radically away from its roots. And that's what I'm trying to describe tonight, that the Christians today are looking back on history and they're saying, how is it possible that what we're doing today veered so far off course from what happened originally? Right? So the question of why so many Christians today believe that Jesus is God in the flesh, part of it we have to understand is how the movement spread so rapidly. Christianity never spread because they managed to convince people intellectually that it was true. For most of its history, Christianity spread through the force of the sword and through political persuasion and force. So in the 4th century, when Constantine is the emperor of the world, essentially, and Constantine essentially makes Christianity the official state religion. So that really gives it a tremendous head start. Prior to Constantine, Christianity was not a widely popular movement. It was a movement which is a fairly small movement in the Roman Empire. But now the Roman emperor himself embraces Christianity in some form. Scholars are not clear how frum Constantine was, whether it was a real conversion to Christianity or it was politically motivated, but essentially he gives it official state status. And from then on, we know the history of the church. Through the force of the sword, they spread Christianity. When they conquered different nations, they go to South America. They didn't persuade the Indians to convert. They said, I'm going to show you it's true. They forced them to convert. So part of the reason we have 2 billion Christians in the world today is for the same reason that Muslims grew to 1.2 billion. Islam is